Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Nakia. Nakia is a new, left behind, and forward-moving spouse. She has a bomb drop of June 14th, 2023, and a date of marriage of 2000. Her MLC is still at home, and as of now, it seems to be a high-energy replayer. She says, my 46-year-old husband has shut me out and is treating me as if I don't exist. He stated he needed 6 months to move. He wants a separation and he's getting his own place. He wants to live for himself. He loves me, but not in love with me. It's his fault, not mine. This is what he's saying. He doesn't have the emotional He's saying he doesn't have the emotional capacity to give me what I want. Nakia, that's true right now. Okay. He's constantly going, no. I also noticed he's drinking more than usual. He stated he wants a whole new life. He's constantly going out. He's tired of all the questions and he just wants out. I've been depressed myself ever since this happened. I'm not sure if there's anyone else. He comes home every night. We still sleep in the same bed. We haven't been intimate for 3 weeks. He stated he doesn't want to give false hope. It seems like he's all over the place with his emotions. Sometimes he just zones out. Please, if you can help with any advice. I don't know where to start. I just ignore him and work on myself. Do I keep in contact during the day? I'm trying to save my marriage. So, first thing, Nakia, I did look it up and I saw that you have gone through almost the entire course of Understanding Midlife Crisis. Good job, because that's answering a lot of the questions that you're still asking, so we'll go over those. You haven't gone over the infidelity module yet, and maybe you're feeling, oh, well, I don't know that there's anyone else. Finish that module, okay? Finish that. That's the only one left. I think was it 12 or 13 minutes? I reviewed it the other day when I was checking to see what you'd gone over. So, saving your marriage is not something you're going to be able to do right now. It's not that what you're doing isn't leading to that someday. But I want to go over first. The odds are against everyone in our groups. And the reason I do this is because I want you to save your marriage. I want to change those odds. But I also want to be fair and honest with you and let you know that the odds are against, okay? And that if you isolate the different groups into different types, maybe you would get some of these ones have higher rates and some of this certain group has lower rates, such as if you have a clinging boomerang. He's still at home right now and we don't know what type he is. If you have a clinging boomerang, the odds are probably higher because they are in contact more and they want reassurance from you. Next, should you just ignore him and work on yourself? Well, you should always work on yourself. Ignoring him, how are you going to do that in the house? You're going to have to figure out some communication with him. You're going to have to deal with him being in the house. Does that mean you keep in contact during the day? Are you both working during the day or is he at work during the day? Do not call him when he's not home right now. So I had a coworker who at every lunchtime, his wife would call and they'd chat. They weren't in midlife crisis. It was just how they did it. They were cute. Don't do that. If he had suddenly dropped the bomb on her, we all would have been shocked. It would have been appropriate for her to stop that because that would have been pursuit behavior. And it would have been going against the I need space behavior because it would have been refusing to give him space. So do not call him and keep in contact during the day. He lives at home still. If he initiates sex and you feel for it, go for it. I get what he's saying, that he doesn't want to give you hope. He's afraid of that. He's also afraid of himself being drugged back down into it through that. But right now, unless you find out that he is having an affair, right now, sex is great for bonding. And you may have to reassure him of it, or you just go with his lead because it's pursuing. Follow his lead on many of these things right now. He is going with absolute textbook MLC script. He wants a whole new life. He doesn't have the emotional capacity. I'm glad he said that to you because they don't always have that type of awareness. He does not have the emotional capacity. He wants to get his own place. He is taking a while. He's tired of all the questions. Yes. So we need to stop asking for the questions. We need to stop telling him we need questions. We need to stop asking for closure. We need to stop with, this isn't fair to me. You're right. It's not fair to you, but we need to stop. All of that is berating him, is criticizing him, is being judgmental, whether we mean for it or not. They're reminding him of, hey, we made a promise to each other. That's just pursuit, and it's guilting him. It's not making him feel better. And if he were to come back because you said, you have a duty, you made a promise to me, that would coming back with a gun to their head. So we want to be very careful. Why questions are especially intrusive, and they put someone on the spot. So that deer in the headlights, that's what they're afraid of. And they don't always have answers to them. And if they do have answers, they are going to just, if they don't have an answer, they may just make up an answer that is meant to get you off their back and be upsetting. It's not meant to be reassuring. So you have been depressed yourself since this, which makes perfect sense. What you're in the shock and anxiety, the panic, shock, and anxiety stage of this still. Because I am recording this at the end of July, and this happened just over a month ago. You are 6 weeks in, maybe. Absolute panic and anxiety stage. You are in what is called an emergency response stage physiologically. And your body is going through the stress response. What's going through you is normal. So yes, you work on yourself. You work on detachment. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It is going to be an up and down road, sometimes more down, especially with him at home. You are to get some therapy. Go on the forums or on the Facebook page and join the groups. Because then you're going to be surrounded by people who are going through the same thing, so you'll come to realize you aren't alone. But you also have people who have been ahead of you in this, and they can give you more advice as well. They can give you that level of support that you might be needing, because you don't want to go and burden your friends with this, because they're going to be there in the beginning for a while, and then they're going to get tired of it, or they're going to be immediately kick him to the curb. And if that's not what you want, well, then that's not where you go for this kind of problem. You go to the people who are going through the same experience with the same goals in mind. If you want to stand for your marriage, and if you don't, that's okay too. But if you want to stand for your marriage, it's not going to be saved right now. So what we do is we put our marriage in a box. We put it on a shelf. And we say, I'm not going to let you destroy my marriage. I'm not going to let your monstering, your betrayals destroy my marriage. I'm not going to let you destroy who I am, or who we are, or who we were. We had a good marriage, and I know what I know. It was good. He's exactly on target at the age also. 46 is the average age of bomb drop. I want you also to prepare yourself for the possibility that there already is or will be an affair. Okay? That might be, for many, the hardest part, or not. The betrayal of rejection, but then the betrayal of rejection with somebody else, the flaunting of an affair, what the affair is doing, all sorts of these things. Or you can prepare yourself enough ahead of time in these 6 weeks you've had and that are coming, that when the affair comes or comes out, you're prepared for it. And that was mainly the experience I had. I found out about the affair. He disclosed, and it was emotional at that point, maybe 3 weeks after bomb drop. And I fell off my chair. I was a puddle on the floor and all that. But in my situation, he was still home like yours. And it wasn't physical yet. I know I still had a little bit of time before I moved to the apartment, which was being readied for him. It was a friend's, and she had to move out. And by the time it was physical, I knew it was going to happen. And I kept wondering, going into some analysis paralysis, about, am I going to be picturing them together? Turned out, not really. I mean, it was just, okay, this is the next step of something. And yet it sucks. And she was awful. But I knew it was going to happen. And because I knew it was going to happen, I could tell from the energy going on that it was only emotional because they were waiting. And no, that doesn't make them any better. Later on, when he was home back and forth, they didn't wait. Come on. But she was manipulating him. I'm a good girl because I'm waiting for you to leave. I won't be with you while you're still at home or while you're still married. You need to be divorced or in the process of a divorce. And so she had him on that leash of, I'm a good girl. Even though she was pulling him away and telling him how awful his marriage was because he was complaining and how no one understood. And she was being a listening ear, which they're going to be. So I want you to understand and prepare yourself for the emotional upheaval of an affair. Because if you can prepare yourself, maybe the emotional upheaval won't be as great. It'll still be great, but not as shocking as all of this. Because you found out the other stuff first. The other stuff that, because he's told you, I don't have the capacity for this. I want out. I don't want to work on things. He's constantly going out. There's a clue right there. He's probably drinking, as you said. He's hanging out with friends, but there may be another woman involved in that. And if there isn't officially another woman involved in it, there may be a woman in the group. And they're interested in each other. Or she's targeted him. Or he's targeted her. So your job is to get some therapy. Specifically would be wonderful if you found someone who would be marriage friendly, who will support you as a stander. And if they don't understand your stand to the point of, I don't really get why you're doing this and it shouldn't be, then you find someone else. If they are somebody who understands and accepts midlife crisis, the existence of it, these days it's a bonus because we just don't get a lot of it. Some of it because they don't have the training in it. And some of it because they deny the existence. If they deny the existence and they're a good therapist and you can avoid that piece of it, that's great because they can still help you. If they deny the existence and that's a real problem, find someone else. This is a real thing. It might not be an official pathological disease as is recognized by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, but it is a condition. It is disease. Just like the terrible twos. And just like teen angst, think of teen and midlife crisis as midlife angst. People get depressed, and this is what happens. Okay, midlife crisis is depression. You have a lot ahead of you, so I really want you to focus on what you can do to heal. Focus on getting a life and your detachment. Because detachment is really how you're going to do it. Think about doing some mindfulness. That is the key to detachment, in my view. And finding some therapy. If you can find some other outside of the home alternatives, such as support groups, but also take a class. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's pottery. Maybe what I did was there was a metaphysical bookstore and they had classes. And I just went and took a bunch of fun classes. And I enjoyed it. And it was for me. Do what you can to focus on you. Okay? This is your journey now. This part is yours. Own it. Okay? I hope this is helpful. And I will see everybody else in the next question.